All right, let's do it. There we go. I almost spoke too soon. I said, "Oh, it's working really smoothly today." But good afternoon. It is Anna Kibble here, District Director here in Colorado, and I am joined, as per our weekly usual these days, with Andrew Batson, our friend with Encompass Lending Group. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. Great to see you once again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So last time we chatted, um, we were, and let me fix my screen too. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. So that we can both be on the screen together. I think it was just me. Last week when we talked about investor loans last week and the DSCR program and bringing those tools. But something else came up that I thought was really interesting, and it's the buy before you sell program.
Yeah, I think this is a great program, and if it's okay, I'll share my screen and we'll walk you through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, because I think it's also a tool that agents can use as part of their listing presentation. You know, it's hard to sometimes differentiate yourself from other agents, and being part of Fathom, where Fathom does own Encompass Lending, this program is rather unique. We'll chat about that.
Awesome. Well, let me see. They, ch- they changed the settings when I hit the share
On
button.
how to
So I don't
share.
know if I can let you share as
Uh,
easily. Well, hold on. I'm gonna pin your profile. Why don't you go ahead and try to share and
Hi.
see if you can?
Uh, Yeah, it just says host disabled participant screen sharing. Sorry about that. While you're doing that, one other
Yeah.
bit of good news that came out today from our meeting at Encompass Lending is we now have a commercial division. Victoria has joined, and in fact, her husband's an agent, I think, with Fathom, and she's about 35 years experience in the commercial world. So she's going to be in charge of a new commercial division for ELG. So if you ever have, anything over 4 units is considered commercial, right?
Right.
So you certainly could be, selling a 5 unit property, probably a 10 unit property, but also working with builders, developers on new developments, things like that. So if you run across anything, just still, I'm your point of contact because I'm here local. But then I'll work with Victoria in the commercial division to see if that's a deal that we might be able to help make work for you. So just keep your eyes out, and if anybody has any, what would be considered commercial deals, we can now help you with those. So that's exciting.
That is exciting. That's awesome. I also fixed the share, so you should be able to
Okay,
share now.
excellent. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and does that come up for you? Okay. Does it
Yep.
look like it's working?
Yes, it does.
All right, great. So once again, I'm on the yourwayloan.com site, which is my team's website as part of Encompass Lending. Gives me a little more flexibility to build some of these detailed, web pages for you. But again, it's still Encompass Lending Group that's handling all the lending here. So the buy now, sell later. This was real hot. You remember, 5 years ago, you couldn't make an offer where it was contingent on the sale of your home. And
Right.
that's not really the case now. But it still comes up. Do you ever have people that they're afraid to list their home because they haven't found the home they want to buy yet?
Absolutely. But also, I mean, some sellers are a little reluctant to accept a contingent offer because sometimes days on market are longer right now.
Yeah.
So, if they've already been on the market a little while and now you're going to list your home, who says you're not going to be on the market a little while? So if it depends on what stage of the sale your listing's in. I mean, some sellers are reluctant to take those offers.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So if it's especially, I mean, there's still hot listings, right? That are selling quick with multiple offers. So the ability to stand out on those. I think you can also think about this from the terms when you're doing your listing presentation. Keep this program in mind because you might incorporate it into your listing presentation as a result of you being, an agent with Fathom. We own a mortgage company, Encompass Lending, and we have a special program that will enable you to make an offer non-contingent on your next property before your current one sells. Now, 9 times out of 10, your current house is going to sell during your window, right? Your timeline, but it enables you to truly make a non-contingent offer. So that's what I like about it is not that we have made, most of the time we don't end up using the loan program or the buy now, sell later program. But it enables you to get your clients, maybe a better deal on their purchase. Another one's new construction. Some builders won't accept any contingencies. This
Right.
allows you to buy new construction with no contingency, even though you're really going to get your home sold and you're not going to actually use this program and close on this loan. So let's talk about what it is. I call it the buy now, sell later. It could also, sometimes people call it like a cash offer program, things like that. But essentially, this is how it works. Um, we start with your listing, so your house that you're selling, right? And get you a guaranteed buyout offer from a third party. So this is a company that Encompass Lending Group works with, and it's a guaranteed offer to buy your home for a certain price. Now, is that at full market value? No, it's closer to like 77 to 80% of market value, but that sort of sets things in motion because with that guaranteed offer in place, we don't have to count your current house payment against you to approve you for your next purchase. Unlike some of the thing, and some of those have died off now because the companies were a little crazy, but I think they still exist. Orchard still is buying some homes. I've seen some sales where Orchard was the owner. They're actually wanting to buy your home, and they make their money by buying your home and then selling it at a higher price. So this is not that way. Our interests are totally aligned with you. This guaranteed offer is just, it's an offer to say that, hey, if everything, falls apart, you don't get your house sold, like here's a backup offer. The, Very, very, very rarely does anybody ever actually sell their home under that guaranteed offer. And even if they do, when it's relisted and resold, it stays with the same agent. So, a Fathom agent still gets the listing, and the original seller gets any extra profit above and beyond, what that guaranteed offer bought it out for.
Yes. That's
So,
really unique. I love that.
yeah, there's no like profit motive in giving you a low offer. Now, the offer is still going to be lower because they don't want to get stuck with it. The last thing
Sure.
they want is, to pay you more for the house than it's worth because, you're off the hook and they sell it at a loss, then it doesn't work. But anyway, so that starts with the guaranteed offer. And then now that we have that guaranteed offer in place, our lending guidelines, and by the way, the offer, basically is 120 days. So you've got 120 days to get your house sold. The underwriting guidelines for like a purchase loan, like a conventional purchase loan, say that if we have a guaranteed non-contingent offer, that we don't have to count the house payment on your old house against you. It doesn't have to close before your next purchase. It just has to have a contract closing date of 120 days or less, right? So now we've got this guaranteed offer that says, okay, you're going to have a buyer for your home at this price. I put that in the loan file, and I get you just a regular conventional loan for your next purchase because I don't have to count the extra debt. So that really makes a big difference. And then again, um, no other agents coming in. There's no actual buyout where, this is like a cash sale of your house and then another agent comes in to sell it. So your Fathom agent remains in control the whole time. In a worst case situation where it actually does get bought out, it's still going to be the Fathom agent as the agent. With the offer in place, again, we don't count you that old payment against you. And then, as I mentioned, you won't leave any money on the table because even if they do buy it, once it gets resold, you get any extra cash. Now, nothing's free. If they go through with the guaranteed buyout and actually buy your house from you, like there's going to be a monthly holding cost associated with that. It's about 1% a month, so
Okay.
12% interest. So you don't want to sell the loan. You want to price the property to sell within the 120 days. But if they do buy it, they're not buying it to skim your equity or to make money on the resale. You're going to get the extra profit, but there is the monthly holding costs associated with it. So obviously the logical question is, well, what about my equity? I need my equity to buy the next house, and sure, that's an issue because the guaranteed buyout is going to be lower than probably market value. So if the buyer or the seller who's going to become a buyer doesn't have other funds for their down payment on the purchase, there is another component to this, which is a bridge loan component. So on the current home that they're selling, we can do a bridge loan up to a certain, point, which is typically about what the guaranteed offer is good for. So let's say the guaranteed offer is like 77% of market value and you owe about 50%, loan to value on the house. You're going to have about 27%, of equity still in there, and they'll give that to you on a second, lien on the property as a bridge loan. And so that'll get you cash for your next house. It's not going to get you every dollar out of your house, but I mean, if you think about 100% market value, by the time you take away commissions and closing costs and everything, you're not really at 100%. So we're still going to be less. This is not for people that are trying to sell their home and get every dollar out to put down 3.5% on their next home. But if you've got some equity in your home, we can tap into that equity, give you that money for the next purchase. We don't have to count that payment against you. We don't have to count your regular house payment against you. We don't have to do any leases or anything like that on your home. Then you're going to qualify for the next house. You might say, well, gee, now I'm borrowing more money on the next house than I really wanted to. We can always separate on the next house, maybe at first and a small second, so that when the old house sells, we just pay off the second. On the new one, there's lots of creative ways to do that. But the point is, you can make a non-contingent offer on your next house. In the meantime, probably your house sells and you end up with all of your equity and you just get your loan like you would have anyway. So this is really enabling you to make that non-contingent offer. Now, if your next purchase is a 30-day close, then your house may not sell, and so you might actually use the program and take out the bridge loan. But for a lot of people, it just sort of eliminates the contingency, which allows them to get the next house under contract, but they still have a 60, 75 plus day close, and then their current house sells in time. So anyway, there's the details on how it works. Get your offer on your current home. That gives you the guaranteed written offer. Buy your new home, move in, and then you can sell. So if they actually want to buy first and then sell, great. Or if it just wants to enable you to get that next one under contract, then that's great too. So that is it's I like it because it takes out those sort of third party, buyers like Orchard that just want to buy your house, keeps you in control, and eliminates some of the objections. Somebody may say, well, I don't want to sell until I have something that I want to buy,
Right.
but nobody's going to take your offer. Your house isn't even listed yet. Great. Let's get them under contract, get them approved so that they can get the house. Maybe it's a one of a kind house that they want to buy that only comes on the market every so often. Let's get that under contract, and use this tool to be able to do that because they otherwise wouldn't qualify. So that's how it works.
I love it. Well, and then, I think the thing that I love most is this is a solution that I can put into my listing presentation so that when I'm there at the table talking to these homeowners about their move, I have all of the solutions. If I'm competing, if they're interviewing multiple agents, no one else is coming in with all of these solutions to be able to help them make their move, because most of the time people are not just selling a house, they're moving, and moving can be really challenging. And here you are, you've got this solution to take away some of the challenges. I think it's a great tool to put in your tool belt for a listing presentation.
Yep, absolutely. It's good in most states as well. So if you have a seller in Colorado that's moving out of state, we can still help them with that. And so yeah, it's great.
That's
If you need help
fantastic.
if anybody ever needs help like putting this into their listing presentation, let me know. I have an assistant, graphic designer that can kind of help take some of this information and tailor it to your listing presentation. So just let me know if you want something kind of converted to a format that works well for you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Andrew, will you put your contact information into the comments
I will.
once we're done streaming as well? That way,
Yep.
if anyone has questions on this, and then will you put a link to your website to the Your Way Home or yourwayloan.com?
Yep, absolutely. I will do that.
Awesome.
And from Your Way Loan, by the way, any of these application links, they'll just go straight to the ELG application. Super easy. So if you've got a buyer, obviously they can call and talk to me first, but there's no cost or anything. So if you go to the Your Way Loan and apply, it'll come right to me since Your Way Loan's Colorado, and I'm gonna wind up with that loan application. So feel free to have anybody that wants to can do that application. Just tell them ahead of time that there's no cost, no obligation. We'll get in touch with them. It's a pretty user friendly little application there, as you can see. So it's good.
That's awesome.
All righty.
Well, thank you, my
you.
friend. We will see you back here next week.